thought we'd spend a little time talking about the holy name of God, because there's so many scriptures, not only in the Torah, but also through the prophets, that tell us we are to know God's name. It's not like we have been told that God's name is too holy to utter, or that we should not know it. God actually prophesies that as his children and as his bride, we are to know it. Do you know in Isaiah 52, verse 6, it says, "Therefore my people shall know my name." So this is a mitzvah. This is a commandment. We should and shall know. And if you're truly his children, you will know his name. "You shall know that in that day I am he, says the Lord. Here am I." There was a time where I was praying the Aaronic blessing over my children, and it hit me because Numbers chapter 6, verses 24 through 26, gives the priestly blessing on how to bless the children of Israel. But verse 27 says, "In so placing my name upon them, I will bless them." So the blessing is inherent in actually pronouncing the name, not substituting it with Adonai or Hashem. Just like in the Shema, a lot of times we say Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, because we're saying it so frequently. It says to say it in the morning and at night, and when you're coming and when you're going. And so that's why we substitute that, so it doesn't become common language. It's so holy. But we are to know his name, and we're to bless our children with that name. So I thought, Father, can you reveal to me how to say your name so that I can place it rightfully upon my children? And immediately it was like this flood of information, this download. He basically, in a capsule, said, say it just the way it was originally given in the Torah to Moses at Sinai. And I said, how was that? And he says, go back to the scrolls and look. And you know, even after the Masoretic text added vowels, they never added vowels to the YHVH. The original Hebrew language was all consonants. It had no vowel markings. You would know what the vowels are to pronounce them, but you didn't have it written in. And the yod and the hey and the vav and the hey have certain consonant sounds. Ya, ha, va. If you don't, and Torah tells us not to add to or subtract from his word. And what we've been doing is adding vowels to his holy name. And it's been done with a purpose, because the Jews have not wanted other people to know how to pronounce his name and thereby defile it. And so they have added other vowels. So I'll share with you a little bit about the holy name of God, what was revealed to me. Here's that verse in Numbers 6:27 in the Hebrew. Veshamu et shemi al bnei Yisrael va'ani avarcham. And name my name upon the children. So we're supposed to name the name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. So the blessing is a byproduct of naming the name. Thus we should know how to pronounce his name, right? Isaiah 42:8 says, I am YHWH. That is my name. And we know that the Hebrew consonants are yod, hey, vav, and hey. And that the name used to be pronounced properly, but the vowels have been unknown since the speaking of the name was forbidden by Rome in 136 AD. In an attempt to remove the new Jewish converts, believers in Yeshua, from the Torah, they've forbid the teaching of Torah on Shabbat. They forbid the keeping of Shabbat holy. They forbid the use of the holy name. This was the Romans eroding our people from the most valuable things that had been entrusted to them. So from 136 AD until the Masoretic text put in vowels in the Torah, there was absolutely no use of the holy name and no knowledge of how to pronounce it throughout, even up to the Dark Ages. And even when they did finally put vowels in, the only thing that the scribes would do is put a little shiva underneath the yod. Here's a enlarged portion of what it looks like in the Masoretic text after these little vowel points have been put in. You've got the yod with a shiva, which is not a vowel, underneath it. And the vav has a kamatz, which is an ah sound. So what it's doing is it's leaving out the vowel underneath the hey, so that you will never know what this one vowel. You might get this vowel right and this vowel right. The yod is pronounced ya, and with a shiva underneath it, that's exactly how it sounds. Just like Yah, the shortened name that we see in Psalms, where he refers to himself, David refers to God as Yah. And va, we know with the kamatz, it's an ah sound. And the final hey, is silent, just like in Sarah, Rebecca. It just has that ah sound. You really don't hear a heavy aspirated H. But what is missing? What we need to find out is this missing vowel underneath this hey. What it is not, sometimes in finding what something is or doing research, you have to first erode what the possibilities that it cannot be. And in ancient Hebrew, there was no J sound, and there was no W sound. So this was only after our people in the diaspora traveled up to Germany and France that they started replacing Y's with J's, with this etymology of words. Jehovah, which they used to put the O of Adonai under here to make sure that you didn't say the holy name properly. Then they went from Jehovah with the wrong vowel to Jehovah, changing the Y to J. So we know it's not Jehovah. And the Vav was always a V sound, so it's not the W. So it's not like Yahweh we oftentimes hear, or Jehovah, or yes?
So who opposed them from, who changed that? When you say they, are you speaking of the Romans, or?
So the Romans first forbid the use of the name of God in the Hebrew tongue. Then as Israel continued their diaspora, and traveled to other lands, they adopted, like in Germany, it's called Yiddish. It's like a mixture of German and Hebrew. Started adopting other letters from other cultures, alphabets, and that's where the J came in, was actually in Germany.
Was the church organized then?
Not in 136, but it was more organized around 300 under Constantine, and that's when they kind of mixed so much paganism with, but first they had to erode from the things that were being preserved through the weekly Torah portions and the study of Torah. So there was a slow, erosion from truth during those early centuries. So here in our Torah portion, we see the first introduction to this name, even though this name is used in the context of the creation account. Remember, Genesis 1 only refers to God as Elohim. God created the heavens and the earth. And the second chapter, more intimate, after he creates man, the YHVH is an intimate name for relationship. So this is another clue that the first time the YHVH is seen in Torah is actually in Genesis 2 in relationship to Adam and Eve and Shabbat. And so here is this Ayah Asher Ayah. What's amazing is the YHVH, when you look at the etymology of the word, they say that it comes from this, and you can even find that in the Strong's. The Hebrew 1961 is this Ahaya. Now, before the vowels, Ehya probably would have been pronounced Ahaya. See the aleph, the hey, the yod, and the hey. And Ahaya, if you can even find this in the Strong's, comes from the root Hava. And Hava, Hebrew 1933, meaning to breathe. So just like God breathed into Adam the breath of life, he would have been referred to in the root as Hava, which is very interesting because we're talking about finding that missing vowel point in the context of the yod and the hey, which we know is pronounced Yah, but then the hey to the Vav, how do you pronounce that? And here the very root is Hava. He said, "Thus shalt thou say to the children of Israel, Ehya asher Ayah has sent me to you." And Elohim said, moreover, you shall say to the children of Israel, Yahava, YHVH, Elohi of your fathers, Elohi of Abraham, Elohi of Yitzhak, Elohi Yaakov has sent me to you. This is my name forever, and this is my memorial unto all generations. So the YHVH is his eternal name, where Elohi is his title. So we know that the root for Yahava comes from Yah, and we even see this in Psalm 68, verse 5. David refers to Yahava as Yah. But also notice that the word Eyah comes from the word Hava. So I'm going to give you a couple examples of the wrong vowels that they have placed in to make sure that the people never mispronounce. Just like we say Adonai is a substitute and Hashem means the name. The vowels of Adonai, which mean master, where we get the word Lord from in the English, were the first vowels that they put in the YHVH to substitute. So you have the yod, the hey, the vav, and the hey, but the vowels of Adonai are ah, o, ah. And this is where Yehovah first came into existence. See, they put the A, O, and the A of Adonai in the YHVH. Then, to further confuse the matter, the title Elohi, they thought, we will put the vowels of Elohi in the YHVH for certain usages. So when they did that, that vowel is the E and the O and the E sound of Elohi. And so this is where you hear sometimes people pronounce the holy name YHWH or YHWH. And in order to prevent repetition of the same sound, since elsewhere they were pronouncing the YHWH with the vowels of Adonai, they didn't want that to catch on and to be even used too much, so they've got two different variations where they're put, but both of them are to avoid the correct pronunciation because they think the name is too holy. So here's two different examples. Yehovah comes from that, which later becomes Jehovah, and YHWH. So how does the YHWH sound without any vowels? If you were looking at the ancient scroll and you just said the consonant sound without any vowels, which is beautiful because God tells us to not add to it or subtract from it. So how much more his holy name? If you just said the vowels, you would say Yah, Ha, Va. And it's just like breath coming off. Even that root of Hava, which Yahava comes from, you have multiple words that come out of that. Because Av is father. You hear Av in that? And Hava means self-existent, the breath, self-existent breath of life. And Ahava in the Hebrew is love. So literally when you say it that way, it comes off your tongue like breath, and you are hearing in the Hebrew tongue, self-existent father of love. So we know that a name reflects a character, like in our Torah portion. This is why whenever somebody's character changed, they would usually be given a new name. Yeshua, who we talked about humbling himself to the lowest position, is given a name above all names because he's completely revealing the selfless love of Yah in his sacrifice. There's some interesting clues that come out not only in the Old Testament, but in the New Testament as well. Yeshua would have known the name of the Father if anybody knew it, and he would have shared it with his disciples, his Talmidim, right? And there's actually a verse in John that says, I have shared with you the Father's name. I have made known to them, he's praying to the Father, thy name, and I will make it known. That the love, now here's the key indicator. So one, he's telling the Father, I've made your name known to my disciples, and John is one of his disciples. And Yeshua says, the reason I've made your name known is so that the love which you have loved me with can be in them. So his name, his holy name, has a direct correlation with love, ahava. This is the clue to pronouncing it correctly. The word for love, as we said in Hebrew, is ahava. John, his disciple, in 1 John 4:8, is using a Hebrew idiom when he says God is love. In the original Hebrew, it would have been Yahava Ahava. Yahava is Ahava. It's a play on the words. He's revealing what Yeshua has taught him about the holy name of God and how it reveals the Father's love in that name. Here it is in the Hebrew, Aleph, He, Vet, He. And it's a homonym again, ahava. It sounds like, even though this V in the YHWH is a Vav, it has the same sound. Ahava, Yahava is ahava, meaning affection, selfless love. So if you even take the vowels of ahava, and you do, see, obviously our people have known that it's the vowels of a certain word that are intermixed with the YHWH that are going to give it correct. But these vowels have to be like that which is not adding to it or subtracting from it. So it also has to sound like when you just say the consonants by themselves. YHWH, Yahava, whatever the correct vowels are, which are the vowels of love, when you intermix them, it's going to sound just like it does with the consonants alone. Yahava. You hear that ah sound, but it's not really a vowel at all. But it's in that, when you say Yahava, you hear ahava, you hear Av, Father, you hear Hava, self-existent one, the original breath of life. It's all connotated in this holy name that God is revealing to Moses. So like the original name of God, I am, coming from the root hava, ahava is heard in the holy name as well, when not adding anything to it. And it also hints at the invisible Aleph of Genesis 1:1, representing Elohim, the Father, Av. Also, Aleph alludes to the mystery of the oneness of God. So here's some of the words that jump out at you when you say it that way without adding anything to it. Yah, which means to exist or to be. Av, Father. Hava, breath of life. And ahava, love or intimate affection. All of these come out of the sound when you say Yahava. Now I encourage you not to use it in everyday language. Don't make it common. Still use it. But when you're blessing your children, we're commanded to place that name upon the children of Israel. And there's certain other times where we're commanded to use the name. So I only share this with you because you're sincere truth seekers. And this is a powerful name that we can use in our prayer life and in blessing our children. For Israel, in the Torah, God clearly told his children what to call him. Moses heard it from Yahweh himself, what to call him, and Moses conveyed it to the people. When writing the Torah, there was no vowels written, so Moses conveyed the proper pronunciation and clues hidden in a Hebrew idiom in the most important command. Even in the Shema, Moses hid this. So we say Shema Yisrael, Yahava Eloheinu, Yahava Echad, but we substitute that with Adonai a lot of times because we're saying it so often, right? Then it goes on to the Ve'ahavta. That's where we say, and you shall love the Lord your God, but in Hebrew it's Ve'ahavta et Elohecha. He's saying Ahava Yahava. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha. Bakol, that means with all, levavka, your heart. Uvekol, and with all, your breath, nefeshcha. Uvekol, which means and with all, meodecha. That's a Hebrew word that doesn't have any English comparison. We say strength, but it means everything you got, like with all your might, with everything that's in your being. We're to love him. So here Moses hid love and the holy name side by side. And we see another glimpse of this in Isaiah 56:6, the very prophecy that talks about those who want to be grafted into Israel will graft themselves in to love the holy name. It says, also the sons of the stranger that join themselves and intertwine themselves with lev, heart, just like the Shema says, to Yahava, to serve him, and to Ahava Yahava, the name of Yahava. So here it's a prophecy that whether or not you can trace your lineage as a descendant of Israel, if you want to be a part of the bride, if you want to be grafted into Israel, you should know the holy name, and you will ahava the name Yahava. You will love the name of the Lord, to be his servants, everyone that keepeth the Sabbath from polluting it. Now it brings in the Sabbath as the sign, which is like the diamond on the betrothal ring for those who love the Lord. Everyone who keeps the Sabbath from polluting it and taketh hold of my covenant will ahava the name Yahava. It says that any one of the foreigners who is intertwined or basically grafts themselves in to Yahava and taketh hold of his covenant with Israel should ahava, love, the name Yahava. So we want to ahava the name Yahava here at the Assembly of Called Out Believers. And we believe that this reveals not only the one true God, but his character of selfless love hidden in his name, since we're talking about names in the context of names. So let's look back at what the Torah and the prophets have taught us about his name before we go on in the Torah portion. One, in Isaiah 52 and 42, we see that God's people shall know his true name. And there's prophecies that talk about in the last days how this name would be re-revealed. Yeshua has made known the Father's name to those who love him, John 17, and that it has something to do with the Father's love in us. Yahava is ahava, John said in 1 John 4:8, making a play off of what Yeshua had told him in a Hebrew idiom. And we are to ahava the name Yahava. Whether or not you can trace your lineage, whether you're part of Judah or the lost house of Israel, or you want to graft yourself into Israel, you will love the name Yahava. And Yahava's name is to be placed upon our children according to Numbers 6:22 and 27. And sixth, the foreigners who intertwine themselves and graft themselves into Israel and into YHWH will take hold of his covenant and will love the name YHWH according to Isaiah 56:6. So this is just a beautiful gift that the Father has given us with new understanding, as there's so much we know around the world, not only division, but conflict over the name and how to pronounce it. And I never tell people that you should pronounce it a certain way. I'm just revealing what he's revealed to me, and I don't want to put any pressure on anybody, whatever, however they're convicted. But this is something beautiful that in my prayer to how to bless the children, all of this kind of came in an download.